stuff. Yes.
That's good.
Got the big waves in there.
All right, not the most ideal setup, but we'll make it work. Yesterday we were at Corteva in Des Moines and there was so much security and red tape to go through. This was a lot easier. So I don't know what's on the screen there, but. Change it over here. All right, here we go. All right, I'm Kyle Wagner, Director of our Corporate Competitions and Events for the Iowa Sports Foundation. I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces, so this is awesome. Our third year of the Quad City Corporate Games over here, and our most companies ever. So I think we're at 24 last year and we're at 33 this year, 34. I can't even remember. I haven't had enough coffee yet this morning, but so awesome to see. I know a lot of you I met at the mini golf event for the Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that seemed like an awesome time. So a lot of that is what the corporate games is for those getting excited for the summer. Oops, I did this like 100 times yesterday. Isaac back there, he's probably the one most of you been emailing. He just moved to Davenport a couple weeks ago. He works for our Iowa Sports Foundation. We just hired him in the fall. So we grew a ton of companies. I needed more help. So they sent me Isaac. We stole him from the state of Nebraska. They do a corporate games over there. So we stole him. And so he's going to be a lot of your in-person events and email communication. But I'm also available to help as well. And then Cole, a lot of you know Cole with City of Davenport. He'll also be at a lot of our events. But if you have more email, corporate games manager type questions, don't bother Cole. You can email Isaac or myself, and we're definitely happy to help. So.
But he can't bother me. I'm not gonna.
He probably will. He doesn't text me back very quickly. Awesome. I'm going to invite up Abby with Vibrant Credit Union. So we like to invite a champion from the year before, or a company that does really well, and share kind of the benefits of the corporate games. I think Rock Valley and Kara spoke last year. So Abby's going to take the reins this year, and I'll let her have the floor.
Thank you. So I'm Abby Pocklington. I'm from Vibrant Credit Union. I'm their corporate services and internal communications manager at Vibrant. Last year was our first year participating in the corporate games, and to say Vibrant fell in love with it is an understatement. So when it first started, I just remember it was a little bit like everyone was really excited, like morale was up, people were really intrigued about it, but it was like pulling teeth to get people to go to the first event. And I remember walking around and being like, can anybody go to bowling? Can anyone go to bowling? And we finally got a team assembled, and the next day at work, like there was a high going around. Everyone was just buzzing about how much fun they had. And it was the word of mouth that really sparked just the excitement around the corporate games. So once people started doing it, they wanted to participate in everything. So we just had a lot of fun with that. Some of the ways that we communicate it at Vibrant is, one, we do some emails around it. We also have like an online newsletter where we post what games are coming up to get people excited. We send out calendar holds so people remember to go to stuff. We are lucky enough to have a gym at our location. So we also hosted like practices for events and stuff just to get people excited. We're a little competitive, so people did really enjoy that. But we did host like practices and just kind of like gain team morale around it. But one of the things that I personally just love about the corporate games and what it entails is just a sense of unity. At Vibrant, we have core values that we live by. We work really well together, but we work even better together when we're friends outside of work and do fun things together. So corporate games just really allows us to get to know each other better outside, so that way we can work together at work. But yeah, so I'm excited for this year.
Thank you, Abby. And I will share it later. I have some kind of templates that some other companies use, like that calendar invite. It'd be cool if Corporate Games Manager could create a calendar invite to send. We don't have that ability yet, but I'll share some ideas like that. And one kind of story, yesterday I had a company come up and they asked me who the admin for principal was. And I said, oh, it's this person over here. He goes, okay, we want to use their green space to practice bags so we could beat them at bags in the summer. And I was like, okay, so it leads to that collaboration. So very, very fun. I do want to thank all of our partners. Visit Quad Cities really helped us get this launched. Joan, Her and Dave have been very, very helpful to us. And then all of the local communities, Davenport, Rock Island, Bettendorf, Moline, all their park and recs, that's where we get a lot of our partner with them on a lot of facilities. Without that, it's not possible. So my advice with that is make sure you check before you go to an event. It's likely not going to be the same location exactly as last year. We have 4 communities to use, so we want to utilize all the different communities and facilities. So just because Spike Ball was at one place last year, just don't expect it's going to be there again every year. So that is my advice with that. Angie, with the chair, our charity partner is the Children's Therapy Center of the Quad Cities. So a portion of every entry fee goes to the Children's Therapy Center. This year, record number of companies, so it's going to be a record donation for the Children's Therapy Center, but I'll let you kind of talk about how it benefits and
You did great, Kyle, on this. You picked just the right picture. No,
I don't think I did that.
I just want to tell you guys how fortunate we feel to be the charity partner for the Quad City Corporate Games. It's so cool to look out and see so many of our current vendor partners, our business partners, the Chuck Long Charity Auction sponsors are in the room. So that means a lot that you guys are willing to go yet at another level supporting our organization. For those of you, a lot of you are familiar with us, but maybe if you're not, I'll tell you just a little bit about us. We're just celebrated our 74th anniversary. We've been providing physical, occupational, speech, and feeding therapy to kids with disabilities and delays throughout Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois, regardless of a family's ability to pay. Normally, up until about 3 years ago, we could have anywhere from 50 to 100 kids on a waiting list. Last 3 years, we've had at any given time over 200 kids waiting to get in for our services. There's several reasons for that, but the biggest one is we are one of the few facilities that will take any child, regardless of the insurance, whether it's private insurance, whether it's state insurance, whether you don't have insurance, we take all kids, doesn't matter. And in order to do that and keep going for 74 years, we need to raise a lot of money. Fundraising is really important. Right now, over 75% of the therapy that we provide is not reimbursed. So events like this, every dollar counts. Some of the kids that we see are born with a physical disability or delay. Some children are born with cerebral palsy. Some children are born with Down syndrome. Some children are born with a variety of syndromes. And that makes for even a more complicated diagnosis. Some of the kids that we see suffer maybe a tragic accident, a car accident. We've had kids that have lost a limb in lawnmower accidents or things like that, being run over by a car in the driveway. So we see kids for a variety of reasons. Some kids come to us 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. We have kids that are 7, 8, 9 years that continue the therapy. So the need never stops. We're so proud to be able to serve the entire Quad Cities community. And we're just so grateful again to be the partner for the corporate games, and so grateful to all of you, all the things that you do, not only feed us, but all around. And we just ask that you keep telling your friends and other people about this wonderful program. We're just so proud to partner with them. And just know by looking at these kiddos, you are making a difference in your organizations and companies are making a difference in the lives of Quad City kids and families. So thank you very much. Thanks.
So today, just a quick agenda. We're going to go through our community challenge with the blood donation challenge, kind of go through a lot of the key admin duties that you guys in this room are going to be responsible for, some important sport and event information, those key administrator tools. I'll go through the volunteer component. That's probably the one I get the most questions on. And then at that time, if you're a veteran admin and good with corporate games manager, that would probably be the time to dip out if you need to. But then at that time, I'll walk through a corporate games manager and all the fun software that it has. But I'll invite up Teresa with Impact Life. Tell us about the blood donation challenge.
So I'm Teresa, I'm with Impact Life, and we are excited to collaborate again for our 3rd year with Corporate Games. Bit of a competition as well on our end of it. So we collaborate Cedar Rapids also has the Corporate Games Challenge. They're also part of Impact Life. So Michelle and I, who's in Cedar Rapids, we have a challenge this year. So I do want to beat them. So I know I'm ahead of her today. So so I went to Quad Cities this year to beat that. Last year, we had the opportunity with the 24 partners we had, almost 300 donations from May through the end of July. And so that's kind of our threshold that we have for this year as well. And so we would love to partner with all 32 of you this year as well. I know some of you guys already have your events booked. Some of you were touching base with on opportunities to collaborate, whether it's at your site or have you guys come to one of our donor centers. So for those of you who don't know who we are, Impact Life, we are our local community blood center. So we supply all of the blood products to our hospital partners such as Genesis, Unity Point, and Trinity. So all of the blood products that are collected stay local as well. But we do have our service region, which spans Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri as well. So a little, again, we can come to you, but we do have our 3 centers in the Quad Cities. So Moline, Davenport, and West Davenport. And we'll have signage at each of those locations with your guys' group codes on there. So invite your family, friends. If you can't donate, invite them to come donate on your behalf as well. And be sure to have them code your guys' individual businesses as well, because those are the points. And so we will report that, I think, monthly. So you guys will have a standing as well of like where you guys are at from the competition standpoint as well. But again, we would love to collaborate with you. If you don't have anything booked as well, we would be happy to get you on the schedule. We can come to your site. We do have a bus that does sets up outside. Otherwise, if you have space like this size, we can come inside and set up our beds as well. But again, you can come to our centers as well and code that as well. So again, 300 units is what we would love to have May through July, but of course we want to beat Cedar Rapids as well. So that's the key message as well. So again, thank you. We're happy to do this again with you guys.
That's one event that starts in May 1 and not June 1, so you can donate twice. So donate as much, right away in May, so you can donate twice during the summer. And that is one way family and friends can participate. So it doesn't need to be someone at your company to go donate. Just send your neighbor and say, go donate on behalf of this company, because we want to increase that blood supply level. Because especially in the summer, it's probably when donations are the lowest. So, and we want to get 100% participation for companies. I think Des Moines, it was like 53 of the 70. Not good enough. We can do 100% over here. So, and that it isn't points based, it's all credit based. It's its own separate award. So if you're not like, we didn't get points for that. It's not points for your leaderboard. It's a completely separate award, but you'll get a nice giant plaque at the award ceremony. And it's by division too. So there's a winner for each division. I'm gonna wait till the end to do this, so I don't have to change all the screens. I'm gonna go through calendars and fun stuff. So this up here is our sport event calendar. This is probably 99.9% set. So there's an example of that. This is also on our website. We have it linked on our admin toolkit page, as well as just as our home page. So that you'll be able to find that. We'll also have throughout the summer, we'll try to post each event, just its icon. So that'll take you to the page where you can learn more about that. So it'll have all the information that you'll need on that. Okay. So this is an example of that page that it'll take you to. So here's an example of dodgeball. This is a great resource for you to be able to share with employees. This will answer a lot of the questions. Instead of having to reply to each one, just send them the link that gets you to this page, and that should be able to answer a lot of their questions. It'll have the time, the date, the location. We've linked all the maps in there so they don't know where they're going. All they got to do is click on the location. It should take them to a Google Maps page. How many people can compete on a team, how many teams you can have, and then who it's hosted by. So this page is really great. It'll take a lot of stress out of you if you can just point people who are asking questions to this page. This is an example of our roster limits and important dates. This is important for admins to have. This is kind of the schedule that you'll follow and you'll go by. So we usually have it 10 to 14 days before the first event. That is the time that you will have to report a team by to show us your roster so that we know that you have a team competing or not. Or maybe you have multiple teams. If you can have 2 teams in an event, then you say, hey, we're only going to use 1, or maybe we'll use 2. This is just the schedule that you'll need to tell us by. So we'd like to have all that information. Maybe if you have a team back out or you'll want to add a team late, feel free to contact us. We should be able to work with you, but it's just a lot easier on our end if we're not waiting until maybe the day before and you're like, maybe we would like to add a basketball team. Then it kind of ruins the bracket and we might have to start over and stuff like that.
Might say something that makes his life harder.
Yeah.
I guess as soon as those schedules get sent out, if you're on it and shouldn't be, or should be on it and are not on it, let us know. So we can make that change right away.
Yeah, also, so this year with that growth that we experienced, we're going to be doing 3 divisions that if you guys have seen that, that may mean the brackets aren't too expansive. So this year we might try out some hybrid schedules where you'll still earn points based off your division, but maybe you'll compete against a team in Division 2 if you're in Division 3 or like that. So we can have a good time while we're there and have some good competition as well. But that won't go against your division if you lose to a different division team. It's not like you lost points in your division at all. It's just there so we have a good time and a competitive time while we're there as well. So this is an example of our check-in. This is real easy. So when you come to events like maybe a virtual fitness walk or yoga, this is a QR code that will scan so that we know that you're there. And it'll provide us a check-in list like a report, which will also be available for you as an admin to pull. So you can see how many people showed up to a fitness walk or what percentage of the employees showed up. So this will be also a very useful tool. We recommend that you pull a CSV report maybe at the end of the year for each event so that you can compare it to the next year or the year before. You can see how your participation grew, and you can do a lot of interesting statistics with stuff like that on your end to see kind of how your growth is doing, or if you need to recruit some more employees to participate and stuff like that. I know a lot of these check-ins are also great volunteering opportunities. We'll have a volunteer opportunities open for this to just man that check-in, and you just got to sit there, look pretty, and have that checked in. Question?
Yeah, are you gonna have a way for people to check in without having to use a QR code?
Yeah.
Just because I know some of our staff are older and aren't gonna use cell phones.
Yep, so we'll have staff on site. Kate's back again for another year to intern, so I remember Kate last year. But we can use our phone to scan it. We'll also have those actual QR codes. I'm working with US Cellular to get tablets too, so they can just walk up and tell us their name. That's what we do in Des Moines. We don't have those available quite yet in Quad Cities. So
Thank you.
all that, and if they don't have an account, we can make one on site for them. So like those individual events, they show up to the fitness walk, right? Someone just told them to go and like get us some points. We can make an account for them on site.
It is a lot quicker though if they do have an account. They
Yes.
remember their login information.
Yeah.
Rather than a
Yes.
second.
Remember your password.
That's the big thing.
I will say, as a vet admin, if you ever get to an event and they don't know their password from your admin page, you can reset anybody's password. So I had a generic one. So if somebody were to text me, they're like, hey, I can't get in, and I wasn't at the event, I actually set up an Estes like general password. And so people knew that I could reset, and I made that very clear. Like when you get to the event, if you're having trouble, instead of trying to reset your email through email, I'll do it for you.
I will be able to show you guys how to do that later in Corporate Games Manager, so that's something that you can utilize as well.
Thank you.
Sure. Volunteers. So you know, you might think corporate games, it's all sports and events. You have to be an athlete to participate. You really don't. I would say majority of our participants do it through volunteering or the non-competitive events. So all of our volunteer spots are pretty easy. It's check in at the event with the check-in codes, maybe scorekeeping at basketball, you know, helping us with results, awards. No extensive sport knowledge is needed. If you want to be a basketball ref, let me know. But that's probably the one that we need the sport knowledge for. But so by April 28th or 29th at 5 p.m. in Corporate Games Manager on your team page, one of the admins just needs to select yes or no if you want to take part in the volunteer program. So it's however, the number could change depending on how many companies say yes. The more companies that say yes, the less number of required volunteers there is. But as you can see, the Division 1 last year, I think, was 4 volunteers. Division 2 is 2 volunteers. Division 3 is also 2 volunteers. That's for the whole summer. So it's like 2 people that you're required to fill for the entire summer. And then every Friday at 8 a.m., we release a few more spots that can be claimed in Corporate Games Manager. So you can claim those spots and assign volunteers to them. I will show you how to claim those and assign all those volunteers. But I think this is probably the part that people think's the most daunting, like they can't get volunteers, and you'll get way more volunteers than you think. And it's also, you earn double the points. So if you're going to participate at yoga, you get 25. If you're volunteering at check-in, you get 50. So it's worth more points to volunteer. And this is the only way that non-employees can earn points. So family members, friends, whoever, they can come volunteer on behalf of the company and earn points. Any questions on the volunteer side of it? Okay, and I will dive into it more with Corporate Games Manager. Admin toolkit. I'll go back to that when I just do the website. Communications. So Isaac and I send out weekly emails. We send one that goes out just to the admins with like important schedule information, deadlines, things like that. That's only important for the company admins. And then we send one out to all employees that have a Corporate Games Manager account. So once they create their account, they'll get added to our email list and they'll be included in all the emails. Those emails, we do a lot of recaps, results, upcoming events, other events that we're promoting, everything that you can think of, and then that all important leaderboard standing. So you can see what place you're in and it'll link to the full leaderboard on the website. But that leaderboard button is definitely the most clicked link as the summer goes on. Company apparel. So one of the cool parts is a lot of companies make company shirts. Some don't make them for every employee. You have to do a Corporate Games event, and that's how you earn your t-shirt. So our logo is posted on the admin toolkit page on the website if you want to throw our logo on it. But it's also, you're more likely to be in our marketing materials and on our website and stuff if you have company shirts, because it's easier, or it's, I don't know, better pictures for us to promote. So I strongly encourage company shirts if you're looking to go that route.
The brighter, the better.
Yes. It helps me know too, like,
Yeah.
you know, Des Moines, the track event, it's kind of cool when you have, 30 people from each company and you can tell where all their team camps are and who's for what company, but.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget Mid-America Basement Solutions is the bright pink.
Yes. Awesome. I'm gonna go through the admin toolkit side. I might have technology problems here, so bear with me. I'll show these while I have them up. I want to run through those. It's Anderson Bogert. They participate in our corridor corporate games. Their first year, I think their first year they got second place, which for a new company, I was like, man, that's pretty good to just join the games and get second right away. And I was like, what'd you guys do? It'd help if I share the right screen. How's that look? Perfect. So they said they just created a lot of their own tools to send out to people, kind of over communicated. So one, this one is a event reminder. So they pulled the list on who's going to mud volleyball and sent out an event info. And it's basically a screenshot of the website, but it goes directly to them. Time, location, all those important details. This is one that they sent out at the beginning of the year. Basically saying that they are a sport captain for a certain event and they have listed the key responsibilities. So everyone in here is going to be listed as a company admin. You have all the power. You can add teams, you can add people, you can do all those fun things. Sport captains are just responsible for certain team sports. So if you have someone that loves basketball or bags or trivia, you can be sweet. You can take control. You can pick the team. You can tell people when to be there, all that fun stuff. So just a step-by-step process of things that the team captain is responsible for. They do send out their own newsletter. So theirs had the upcoming events, important deadlines, and recap the previous week's events, and as well as that point standings for their division. Theirs also had more of a personal touch to it. Ours, it's hard for us to do a personal recap of every company after every event. So there's, you know, Alex and Drew were at the event and they were able to share that story with the company. That would mean a lot more to your company than if, you know, TBK is sharing a story about Quad Cities Bank and Trust. You know, not as cool. So that's one thing that they do to kind of really promote their participation. And they said, like, here's like that mud volleyball one that they send out. And then they do one, just basically, we can provide a template too, but announcing to the company that they're in the corporate games, what it is, all the events, and where to get all the information. So I think it was very helpful as, again, they finished second place in their division last year. Many of you have probably been to our corporate games website. This is just our homepage. If on the bottom, we try and list all of our upcoming events, and as the summer goes, we'll definitely keep that updated, the upcoming events. And then every event has its own event page. So you can click these and it'll have all that specific sport-specific information for you or your employees. And then the very important leaderboard page and then that's where you can find results for every single event. Those results are also posted on each event page. So on basketball's page, there'll be a button with the basketball results. There'll also be, that's where the schedules will be as well. One of your best friends this summer is going to be the company administrator page or the admin toolkit page. We will post the recording and the slides from today's presentation. It has our corporate games point system, our admin manual. So that is what you'll see in Corporate Games Manager. It's like a 20-page PDF with pictures and guides and steps to help you work your side of Corporate Games Manager and also how to help your employees. And then there's also a PDF for employees. They won't see all the functions and features that the admins see. So there's also a guide for in there as well. And then we've also made like a short 15-minute video all the way from setting up their account all the way to signing up for events. So I would send people to those first. They hopefully can answer a lot of their own questions. And then if they can't, then definitely communicate with us because we know, especially new companies, it can be a little daunting first getting into Corporate Games Manager, but April's pretty light. We can help out with whatever. And then the sport and events, limits and deadlines, that's that PDF that Isaac was showing with the minimum number of people for a team, the maximum, the deadline date. So at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, whatever that date is, the deadline locks. So we just need to know by then, yes or no, if you have a team, typically that Thursday, or if not for sure by that Friday, we have a schedule out for that specific event. All of the calendars, and then we have division specific ones just for your division. And then a lot of different promotional materials that you can use. And then we also have our logo. Looks like I need to link that yet, but we have some InDesign files. So you can, if you have a marketing or communications team, they can steal a lot of our files and make stuff specific for your company, throw your logo on it. But I'll link that later today. Looks like I forgot to do that. Any questions on the admin toolkit page? Awesome. We will dive into corporate games manager now. So if you feel comfortable with it and need to step out, or if you have another meeting, now's probably a good time to get up and go. We will record this, so it will be posted as soon as it uploads to our Zoom. We'll get it up on the website, but I will get it ready to go. But now is a good time if you do need to step out. So I better not get any emails from them. Perfect. So top right corner of the screen, you'll see that dashboard button. It opened up this morning and all the way through the games, that button is there. You'll notice in the winter or the off season, we're doing our updates to Corporate Games Manager. So that is not open. You won't be able to access it. So if it's ever like, I can't find it, it's because it's closed, but it should be open all the way until August now. So when you have employees that want to make an account, they'll just click this new user register here button and they'll create their own account. They'll put in, we recommend a work email. They'll make their own password, name, date of birth is important because we do have events where it's by age group. So if you're like, when you go to your sport and event page or your declared interest for events page and it says, why is it only showing 70 plus for the Belmont Mile and I'm over 38 or whatever, it's because your birthday is wrong. And then here's where you'll put in the company code. I'll show you where to find that. This is what attaches that employee to your company. So if you put the wrong company code in, it might attach them to the wrong company, but if it shows up red, it's an invalid code. It'll show up as green text when it is an accurate code. And then if they want to volunteer, they can select yes or no. In order to show up as someone for you guys to assign a volunteer, they have to select yes. If they select no, then they won't show up as an option for you to add as a volunteer. All right, I made a fake person, so we'll see if it works. Okay, so the first screen that it'll take you to is our waiver for the year. Everyone has to agree to this. So this is how we know if they don't have an account, they can't participate because they haven't agreed to the waiver. It just protects us and all of our event hosts. We haven't had anything too serious happen, mostly sprained ankles and pulled hamstrings, but
Cheekbones, pulled hamstrings.
that's why companies practice before they go to events. So in case Cole throws a dodgeball at me, I'll agree. So then it takes me to my dashboard. So this is what it looks like. This is what it'll look like for you guys. The employees just won't have anything under the company administrator on down. So everything they'll have would be just here. You'll notice when I logged in, it has my company has questions that I have not answered. So this is going to show up until someone from your company goes to manage organization. And so if you want to change the name of your company or anything like that, you can do all that here. Also on the website, if your company is not listed correctly or spelled wrong or wants to be listed a different way, let us know and we can change that. We want to make sure it's the exact way you want to promote your company. So here, under manage organizations, this is where that company code is for you and your employees. And then the other question, so I put in this question, this will be asked for all employees. What's your t-shirt size? If you want to make those company shirts, they can put their own t-shirt size in. And then it's would I like to provide volunteers? This is where I said by that April 29th at 5 PM or whatever, you just need to select yes or no. If you select yes, that little volunteer 2 text down from managed organizations will show up. If you select no, that volunteer part's not going to show up. I think it does lock. So if you select no and can't change it, let us know and we can change it to yes. So if I go to my info, it's very laggy. I have all my info in there, and then I have yes that I want to volunteer, and then it asks for my t-shirt size. So that red text is going to show up until I answer this question on my profile. So we'll sign up for a few events. So this is signing up for events. I would call it more declaring interest in events. It doesn't actually sign you up for the events. So individual events, you don't need to actually sign up for. It's good for them to sign up for or declare interest so you guys can see who's interested. But even if they haven't declared interest in the event, they can still show up to the fitness walk or yoga or whatever event, check in like normal. It is important for them to declare interest in the team sports though. That way you guys can add them to an actual team. And you can see it shows only the ones I'm eligible for. So I'm not eligible for like a women's basketball team or a women's disc golf team. I'm going to sign up for these or declare interest. And then it's going to ask me some questions. If I want to be like a sport captain, I can put yes in there. You guys will be able to pull that report and see who's interested in being sport captains. And I'll show you how to do that. I really don't want to be, so we're going to say no. And then, come on. Way at the bottom here, it has all the events that I have declared interest in. So the check mark means I'm good to go. I can go to that event, an individual event. Team sports, it's going to say pending until I am added to the team or told no, I'm not on the team. So bags, you can have 2 teams, 4 people. You're probably going to have a lot of people that aren't going to get to participate. So it's going to say pending or no until you change that. So if I go to event participation, this over here is the deadline date where you need to tell us yes or no if you have a team. The slots is the number of people that can be on the team. So we have a lot of them are pretty high. And then teams is how many teams you have said yes or no. So over on the right here, sorry. It has this yes or no option. That's where you just need to let us know yes or no if you have a team. So let's say, we'll say yes to bags. We'll say yes to a couple. And we'll say no to a couple. So even if I click no, I can always go back and change it to yes, no. It doesn't matter. We can go back and change them at any time. So right now you can see I have 1 men's basketball team. Yeah, that one's not right, but it's okay. That one too. So the number of teams that I have. So let's say there's an event like that, or like bags, where you can have 2 teams. You will have to go in and select 2 teams for those events. So if the bracket comes out, you thought you selected 2 teams, there's only 1, let us know right away so we can add your second team. But I'll select that I want to be on team 2, and I'll select yes. And then I can select which team that I want to be on. I'll click save. And this is where all your people will show up, and it'll also be timestamped so that if you want to go by first come, first serve, whoever signed up first, that's how you can do it. You can have your own internal bags tournament to see who you want to participate. Totally up to you, but it is timestamped. So then now if I go back to this screen, it's going to show that we have 2 bags instead of just that 1 that we had before. And then it'll show on this screen that I have been added to bags. And if I add somebody else, let's say I add Isaac on his profile, it would show the same thing. Let's see, we'll go with this Burst Your Thirst dashboard. So that's one event. We kind of use an outside site. It's can be done from your desk. All it is water consumption tracking. So if someone's like, I'm not an athlete or I can't do it, they can sit at their desk and track their water consumption. It's not how much you drink, it's just how frequently you track. So easy event, but you will have to sign up through livehealthyiowa.org. Isaac or I will send out a group ID and a subsidy code by email. You'll enter the group ID at the beginning of the registration, the subsidy at the end, and it'll make it so it costs $0. Because if you're not in the corporate games, other companies have to pay for it. So you guys get to do it for free. But you have to be registered by June 1st or 2nd, I believe is what it is. So we can get our water bottle reports already. And then you can pick up your company water bottle. Everyone that signs up gets a water bottle. They have to do Burst Your Thirst. Not just everybody gets one, but those can be picked up at the fitness walk the following Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it is. But only, you can't sign yourself up for the event. There's a team captain guide on the Burst Your Thirst page on our website too. It'll walk you through how to register people. My recommendation is the admin signs everybody up and assigns them to a team, or their team captain can specifically sign them up. But that is a goofy one. If you have questions on that one, just give me a call or shoot me an email and I can help walk through that. But we'll get those codes out to you probably in the next couple of weeks, because registration will open May 1. Hard to see, but this is where you can add captains to a certain sport. I can minimize that. So over here is I can see it on my screen. Well, behind this fancy button over here, there's a new captain button, and I'm going to click it. And this is where I can add someone to be a captain of a certain sport. So this is all the people in my organization. So I can select anybody to be a captain for a certain sport. And then on the right here is this plus arrow. So I need to click the plus arrow and assign them to a certain sport to be a captain. So sport captains can do everything an admin can for the sport except actually say yes or no to a team. So you as the admins have to click that yes or no button, but they would have that event participation button to be able to go add people to a team. I do recommend sport captains. It'll take a lot of the work off your plate. You know, if you're responsible for all 25 events, it can be a lot for one person. So I recommend having, 2 or 3 admins, and then maybe even a couple sport captains to help out with that workload. Volunteer. So if you select yes on that on your manage organization page, you can click this volunteer part. This is where I need to know your 5 preferences by April 29th. So you can select which events priority that you want to be a volunteer at. So you select your top 5, and then it's time stamped as well. So it's going to be first come, first serve. You can go back to your office today and pick which 5 events. So if you're the first company and your first preference is dodgeball, you're probably going to get dodgeball or all those events. So this is what would be the required spots. So none of the open spots are attached to this at all. So if you select dodgeball, you'll be required to have 2 people volunteering at dodgeball, and we'll send out a full list of which spots that you're required to volunteer at. But so if you select no to the volunteers, this won't show up at all. So if you do say yes to the volunteers, down here, it'll have where the spots that we assign to your company. So I made a test one. I'm glad no one logged in and claimed it, but it's pretty easy to claim just on the right side over here. So this is where this is the open assignments. So at 8 a.m. on every Friday, I think starting like May 14th or whatever that Friday is, we'll start 8 a.m. Spots will start to show up here that you can claim. So they're first come, first serve. If there's no open assignments, it means there's nothing available to claim, that they're not available yet, or they've already been claimed. So this is where you can claim the open ones. And then it would show up under my assignments. So also the ones that we do assign to you would show up down there as well. And then if you want to assign people to it. So I clicked the volunteer event that I wanted to do, and then I can assign an employee. The button over here says assign non-employee. So you can let us know if your wife or your husband or your uncle or whoever is going to be the volunteer. You can just type in their name and their email. They don't get an automated email letting them know that they're added to a volunteer spot. But if you add an employee, they do receive an email. So you just click them, add them to that volunteer spot, and they get to volunteer. And then the filled, that's just how many people you've assigned. So the assigned is you need 2 people, and the filled is how many that you have filled. So we just need to assign 2 people to that spot. Questions on the volunteer part of it? Yes.
Volunteers have to sign a waiver or
Yeah,
the check-in process.
good question. I would say yes, and we can make an account for them on site, but I would say yes, just in case anything happens. And one question we probably get asked is, can you volunteer and participate? So let's say yoga, you're responsible for check-in. You can volunteer at check-in and then go participate in yoga. That works. Events like basketball where you're scorekeeping, that doesn't work because we need you at the scorekeeper table keeping score, and you can't go participate and volunteer and do all that. So if you don't know, ask. We'll let you know yes or no if it'll work or not, but I feel like common sense works. If you think it'll work, do it. If not, we'll let you know for sure too. But
Yeah, the majority of the events are really, we need help with check-in. That's a big thing. And then after that, it's pretty much if they need to leave or stick around, watch or participate.
yep.
How old do volunteers have to be?
So I'd say 16. Yeah. Please don't sound like an 8-year-old. Like it's funny they do like great work, but it's better for all if they're 16. And then there's no, points question. Even if you pick them up from school and bring them to the event, they're with you. We would likely not count them as volunteers unless they're 16 and actually helping. People have tried. Other questions? And this is probably one of the more confusing parts. So if you do have questions, again, don't be afraid to ask Isaac or myself. And I guess I should have said, when you do add people to a team sport, like I assigned myself or Isaac, I do get an email that I've been added to that sport. So that's nice that they're just not sitting in limbo like, oh, am I on the team? Am I not? They will get an email when they're added to a team from this screen.
And I think, yeah, definitely reiterate with your employees that if they declare interest for a team or for a sport, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be participating for that sport. That once they get that email, that's kind of the last check mark. Definitely going to be playing that sport or event.
So this manage employee screen, this is the one that she was talking about where you can go in and change their password. So you just go over here and click edit and you can make a password for them. You can also add events for people. So if they refuse to use technology and sign into their own account, you can come over here and click events and add them to certain events. You can also invite people to Corporate Games Manager. So in this emails section at the top, you just copy and paste their email in. And on the right behind the screen there, it says invite. I don't recommend that way because if you invite too many people, it's going to lock you out of the website. It could be for 5 minutes. It could be for 4 hours. It also, I've seen it where they invite like the entire company and it locks everybody out of the website. So that route works okay if you're just adding a couple people, but I wouldn't invite too many people that way, or do it, wait like 10 minutes, invite a few more. I don't know why, but that's just the way that it works. If you're not receiving emails, and I would even do this as soon as you get back to your office today, ask your IT if you can whitelist our emails and our company. That way you can receive the emails. Cybersecurity has increased a ton the last couple of years. And we've noticed a lot of the companies aren't getting our emails, whether it's from our communications one we send, or even if it's just an email from Isaac or I. So What whitelist means, I have not a clue. I just know that that's what the IT people have to do. So if you say whitelist to the IT, they'll likely know what you're talking about. And if they need like a IP address or an email from us, just let us know and we can get that to you. But I would recommend doing that right away. 2 more parts and then we're done. So on your dashboard, we have our news section here with our calendar and our point system. You can also make your own news section. So you just click manage news on the left side. Over here, I think it says new news. I can't see it either, but new news. We'll tell Cole hi, and then you can publish it or unpublish it. We'll make it active. And then if I go to my dashboard, there's a note to Cole. So this is for your company only your employees that are in there, your company would see that. So whatever info you want to put there, you can put there. And then the last part, and probably one of the most important parts, is these reports. Some don't know they have access to this or what they do. So these are important. And as Isaac said, we close Corporate Games Manager probably in August, September. So I would pull all these and save them. So next year or in the off season, you have all these reports if you need them. If you forget, don't worry. We save them so we can email them out. But these ones are specific to your company. So participants by users, that's just the people that have created an account in your company. The participants by user detail, that is a full list. It has like, if you have someone that declares interest in 22 events, it's going to show them with 22 different columns. The summary one just shows them in one column. So they just differentiate a little bit that way. Volunteer reports, you can see who you've assigned to volunteer spots all at one spot. Company questions, that's going to be that t-shirt one that I answered. So any questions that you put there, that's where you can pull who's answered this, the t-shirt size questions. Event questions, that's going to be the yes or no for the team sports. So you can pull an Excel file and show all the team sports that you've said yes or no to and look at it in one spot. Volunteer assignments, it's again who you assigned to those volunteer spots. And then the check-in report. So it's live. So if there's a fitness walk and you're out of state and you want to say, hey, who's checked in at the fitness walk? You can pull this report and it'll show everyone that's checked in for your company. It's awesome because you can see it. And if they're not on that list and they said they did it and the check-in is still open, just go and tell them to check in again, because you can check in 50 times. It's only going to show up once on our report. So it's nice on that end. Same for like the virtual fitness walk. That's open Friday to Monday. You look on Sunday and Craig says, yeah, I checked in on Saturday. No, you didn't. Just check in again. With those two, if there's someone that's not checked in that said they did, or you know they were there, email us like right away after the event. We will add people that were legitimately there. If you, at the fitness walks in June and you email us July 20th, hey, this person was there, we're not going to add it that late. So I would say as soon as we post results for an event, look through them. If there's someone or encourage people that did it also to look at the results, because they're not likely going to tell you until they look like 4 weeks later and like, oh, I never got points for that. So we try and be flexible. We know technology is not always our best friend. But again, as soon as possible, let us know if someone was there. Please don't lie. I've seen it with the virtual fitness class. I think it was Des Moines. We had a company, their interns just sat at their computers and assigned or checked everybody at their company in. And it shows us the location where they check in at and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, so unless they had, 80 people at their office doing the virtual fitness class, so we can catch those things on our side too, but just be honesty is huge with this, and it's fun too. I know it's going to get competitive like basketball and dodgeball and those things, but try not to be over competitive, just have fun with it. And winning's fun. Yes, we have those giant trophies you might've saw at the awards ceremony last year, but winning is not the most important thing. There's so many more benefits. I can look in this room and how many people, I've built that relationship with, or companies that do business together, network, all those things. So that's far more fun and more important to me. But yes, I'm competitive. I love winning and all that too, but just whatever's most important for your company, try and get that benefit out of it. Anything I missed or what questions do we have?
You participated last year. Does all of those members show up in the admin again?
Yes, yep. So if you have an account from last year, even, so you can log in as normal. If your email and passwords is, it's all the same, you can log in. You just have to agree to that waiver. It's gonna take you to that screen right away. So if you're a new company or a new admin and have never had an account, right after this meeting, Isaac and I are gonna sit down and get you added to Corporate Games Manager. You will get an email with a link to join Corporate Games Manager. So, we'll probably have those to you early afternoon. I'd say by the end of the day, if you haven't got it, let us know and we can create a temporary password because that just means the IT stuff isn't working and our emails aren't going through. But and if that does happen, that's when you really want to talk to IT before you start telling your employees to sign up for events. So we make sure they get the emails as well. Other questions? I know it's a lot, information overload, so if anything comes up, reach out to Isaac or myself, and we're happy to help answer any questions, and especially, dive into Corporate Games Manager right away, get familiar with it, so we can help you now before things really get rolling in June. Sweet. Well, if you have other questions, Isaac and I will be around, so come on up and look forward to meeting you all, and have a great summer.
I gave it to you if you want.